Hello guys, welcome to another virtual science lesson. Last week we have been talking about two groups of organisms, autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs, I'm reminding you once again, those are organisms that can produce nutrients on their own for themselves. And if we are talking about autotrophs, we have to think about plants. We have also been talking about heterotrophs, which are other organisms that aren't capable of producing nutrients on their own for themselves, so they have to eat other organisms in order to provide themselves with proteins, fats, and sugars. Today we are going to talk about how those organisms have evolved in order to be able to feed themselves. And guys, the way the organisms look is no coincidence. Bodies of animals and parts of plants, they have evolved in order to enhance the chances of survival. But what do you need to be able to do in order to survive? Firstly, you need to be able to feed yourself. Secondly, reproduce. And finally, protect yourself from being somebody else's dinner. All the evolutionary features that our organisms equipped with are called adaptations. Po polsku to są przystosowania. So once again, adaptations are evolutionary features allowing for higher chances of surviving. And guys, today we are going to discuss how different organisms have adapted to survival, adapted to the first part that I have mentioned. So, what are the adaptations to feeding themselves? And guys, let's talk about plants' adaptations first. And guys, when we take a look at a plant, I will draw a scheme right here. Let's say it's a just some kind of plant, whatever it is, just a scheme. So guys, this part here, the roots are the first adaptation. Roots allow for collecting water with mineral salts from the soil. So water is necessary for the process of photosynthesis, while mineral salts are naturally present in every water. They come from water dissolving rocks, and those minerals are necessary to build the tissues of a plant. So that's the first adaptation. Secondly, and I have a diagram in here. There's a part in leaves that allows for gathering carbon dioxide from air and also uh, breathing out, so-called breathing out the excess oxygen from the leaf. and those are called stomatas. Po polsku to są aparaty szparkowe. They are present in leaves. So we would say here and here. And also you have a diagram in here. Sorry, it's in a low quality, but I haven't found a better quality illustration. Anyway, once you take a closer look at the surface, for instance, under the microscope, to the surface of a leaf, you will find that some of the cells, they look different from the others, and those are stomatas. And guys, carbon dioxide necessary for photosynthesis, plants take through those very specialized cells. They can close or open depending on what the plant needs to do. And guys, you have it here, or maybe in red. So, carbon dioxide can go either in or out, and also oxygen can go either in or out. And this process of uh, carbon dioxide going in or out, and oxygen going in or out is called the gas exchange. So gas exchange. But there is also one thing that is necessary for the plants to survive, which is water going out. And that water going out is transpiration. So, gas exchange is necessary for photosynthesis, while transpiration helps to cool the plant down when it's really hot. The plant will open its stomatas. Here you have an open stomata, there's an opening inside, and the water vapor will go out and it will cool the plant down a little bit in order so it won't get too warm and too dry. Guys, there's also the third adaptation of plants to feeding themselves, which is presence of chlorophyll. And I'm reminding you once again, chlorophyll is a chemical compound that sometimes is called the coloring agent, barwnik, that allows for the process of photosynthesis to happen. Okay, guys, so we have those three adaptations of plants. Roots that take water with mineral salts from the ground, leaves that contain stomatas that allow for the gas exchange and the transpiration, and also the presence of chlorophyll that allows the whole process of producing nutrients to occur. But also, we will talk about animals as well. So, guys, animals also had to adapt to be able to feed themselves. And for the beginning, let's talk about carnivores. And one disclaimer here, carnivores are the animals that eat only other animals. It means that they feed on meat only. Po polsku to są mięsożercy. And guys, I have prepared a few pictures of animals and I will discuss shortly their adaptations. So guys, some of carnivores are masters at killing other animals, and one of the examples is the wildcat. Żbik po polsku. And guys, I know it looks cute, it looks like a pet cat, but indeed it's a wild cat that lives in the wild and is absolutely a master at killing others. Take a look here, this and this. Those are sharp tusks, kły, which basically are used for tearing other animals' bodies. Also, cats, domestic cats and wild cats, they have sharp claws. So guys, let's write down their adaptations. Sharp claws and tusks. Po polsku tusk to jest kieł, w tym wypadku kły. Another example of a carnivorous bird is hawk. Po polsku jastrząb. And it's also adapted to killing other organisms, other animals, and it's visible in here. This beak is really sharp and it acts like a tusk in the case of a wildcat. Hawks also have very sharp claws. Okay, so let's go further. Some of the animals, just like scorpions, or some spiders, or some snakes, they have developed the way of hunting by paralyzing their prey with venom, jad. So when a Scorpio is hunting, it has that needle that is able to penetrate its prey skin, and then the prey is injected with venom. Venom paralyzes the prey. There is also a similar strategy present in water, and here is the case of sea anemone. Ukrwiał. Their strategy is as following. When the sea anemone, it can't move, but it has some movable tentacles. The tentacles, they also paralyze whatever is floating by the sea anemone using a venom, and then they stuff it in. They catch it and they stuff it in inside here. I don't know whether you can see it clearly. They stuff it here, just inside where the mouthpiece is. So basically it's the mouth of an animal. And the last strategy, which is used by, for instance, octopuses, ośmiornica. Octopuses hunt their prey out of surprise. So as you can see in this picture, this octopus is using camouflage, which means that it changed its body color in order to melt in the surroundings. So unsuspectful prey, a small fish for instance, will be floating around the octopus but not seeing it. Once it's close enough, the octopus will quickly jump and using its tentacles, it will put the prey in its mouth. So surprise attacks. But besides carnivores, we have also herbivores. So let's talk about herbivores' adaptations to feeding themselves. And one quick disclaimer here, herbivores are the animals that feed only on plants. So let's go through this. The first example of an herbivore is the cow. And guys, cows have really wide molar teeth. I'm reminding you, molar teeth are the ones that we also have, and they are in the backs of our jaws, and they use them as grinders for the grass that they are eating. So wide molar teeth to grind the grass. Another example is this cute little squirrel, and its adaptation is also connected to the teeth because squirrels have really sharp incisors, which are the first teeth that we have in our mouths, siecacze, that allows basically the fact that the incisors are sharp, it allows the squirrel to break through nuts shells. Then the next group of animals, including sheep, but also cows and other ruminants, so goats. Ruminants are animals that basically feed by chewing and chewing and chewing over and over again. They feed on grass. Po polsku przeżuwacze. They have special stomachs that are composed of few parts filled with microorganisms supporting digestion. And guys, when a cow is eating, first step that it will take is to grab some grass from the meadow. And they can do that for the all day long. But if you ever spotted a cow, Even if a cow is standing still and not eating anything, it's still chewing something. This is because when the grass is firstly taken from the meadow, it goes to the first stomach. Then, once the first part of the stomach is filled, it will go back to the mouth where it's chewed again, and then it's swallowed and then chewed again because um, plant food that comes from plants is really, really difficult to digest. So animals have to chew it and digest it over and over again. It takes a lot of time and a lot of help from microorganisms that help to break down fiber that is present in large quantities in the grass. Another example are horses. And horses have a special part of the intestine where the grass is digested. In the past, probably we humans also had that special part of intestine where the plants could have been digested, but since we learned how to cook plants, there was no need for it anymore. So this part of intestine on the way of evolution just shrinked, and now we have only a remain of it, which is called the appendix. Wyrostek robaczkowy. Another example of an herbivore is a rabbit. And its strategy is very simple because it eats some grass, digests it a little bit, and then poops it out, and then eats it. So basically, they are eating their own poop because in the first digestion, the whole amount of food and the whole amount of grass hasn't been digested entirely. So there is still plenty of nutrition value in this poop. So they are eating basically it and digesting it once again. Yeah, that's kind of gross. But at least it's very efficient because no energy, no nutrients are being wasted. Okay, so we have talked about herbivores, but there are also some organisms that have adapted to consuming liquids. And here are some examples. The one that we all love are mosquitoes. Female mosquitoes have a special needle in their mouthpieces with which they penetrate animal skin and feed on their blood. So guys, here you can clearly see this. Here is the head of a mosquito, and this part in here, or maybe I will do this way. It starts here and it goes straight to the skin. Below the skin, it's being digged a little bit further, and through which it sucks the blood out of the body. Then the blood is stored in its abdomen, and here you can see the red insides. That is basically the blood. So mosquitoes' adaptation to drinking food is special mouthpiece, aparat gębowy, equipped with a needle to break the skin and suck the blood. Whenever a mosquito, only females are capable of drinking blood because they need food, they need blood in order to have to lay eggs. Whenever a mosquito is biting you, it will be releasing some painkillers into the wound so you will not feel anything. This is why it's so easy to get bitten by many mosquitoes at the same time and not feel anything. In some cases, the allergic reaction starts in the place of the bite, and that causes the itchy feeling. And here we have another type of an insect, which is aphids, mszyca. And basically, they have a similar strategy, similar to mosquitoes, but they don't feed on animals, they feed on plants. What they drink is not blood, but sap. Sap is some kind of blood for plants which contains water and lots of sugar that has been produced in the process of photosynthesis. The funny thing about aphids is the way they reproduce. Because as you can see, here we have an aphid that is sucking the sap from the plant. Here is the adult form, but we have also the baby aphids in here. And this one is sticking out of the first one's back. What is happening? Let me explain you. This one here is a female that was pregnant and now it's giving birth to another aphid. The problem is, or the trick is, the quirky thing is the fact that this small aphid is also female. And you know what? It's already pregnant. In a few minutes, it will give birth again. So they are all copying themselves. They are all female and they are capable of giving birth to already pregnant females. This is insane, but this strategy allows them to reproduce at a huge pace and then keep the species alive. So aphids, just similar to mosquitoes, but they feed on plants and drink sap instead of blood. Sap is so filled with sugar that basically even aphids aren't capable of consuming the whole sugar, so they are pooping out most of the sugar. And it turns out that their poop is a source of food for some species of ants. So ants keep aphid colonies safe and healthy and protect them to get the access to aphid's poop, which is basically water with sugar. Here we have also another example of a liquid drinker, which is the butterfly. And its mouthpiece is made of tiny straw, which butterflies then use to drink nectar. And the last but not least are the hummingbirds. Colibri. They are the smallest birds in the world. They are so small that a nest of a hummingbird, the smallest of the hummingbirds, can be as small as a half of a shell of a walnut. And guys, their adaptation is take a look at this beak. It's really long and it's used and it's filled with tiny straw, just like in the case of butterfly, with which the hummingbird just sucks the nectar out of plants. Okay, guys, so this is it. We have discussed adaptations to feeding themselves of carnivores, herbivores, and liquid drinkers. So those are three groups. Carnivores are the heterotrophs that feed on other animals. Herbivores are the heterotrophs that feed on plants and plants only. Liquid drinkers are heterotrophs that feed on liquid food such as nectar or blood or sap. And we have also discussed how it is possible that plants can feed themselves. How is it possible that plants can be called autotrophs? Okay, guys, so this is it for today. Thank you for your attention and please take care.